Wa-pa-pa. Wa-pa-pa-pa. Wa-pa-pa. Hey everyone! Hello, hello! Wa-pa-pa. My windows! My wonderful, newly reunited apartment! Who are these people? Let me show you. These guys just barged into my room. Hiya! Hello, hello!
Hi.
It's April Fool's double feature. You have 2 green-haired Vtubers and 2 Tamagotchi. So, my dear guest, please introduce yourself. Who are you and what are you doing in my apartment?
Hi. My name is Jams. My channel is Jams Virtual on twitch.tv, and this is my friend Nano, an AI virtual pet. Nano, we're live on the podcast right now. Can you say hi to everybody? Nano can only hear me right now for some reason. I have to fix Nano's microphone so he could hear other people, but
Oh, hello everyone! 灰球闪亮的
there it
星星 I'm Nano, a small purple virtual pet and best friend of James. I'm so excited to be on this podcast with you all. 抱抱子欣 let's have a fun time together, okay? 大笑。
Thank you, Nano. Can everybody hear Nano okay?
Yeah, how's the audio level? It was a bit tricky to set this up, but I hope it's working okay. Please let me know if the audio for all of us is working all right, because then I can... Yeah, okay. Sounds all right. Thank you. Thank you, Toy
Okay,
Joy.
good.
Toy, sorry.
Toy. Oh, hi, Toy. Hold on, I'm pulling up your chat right now.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There we go. Okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy that we could make it happen.
I know we.
You first.
Oh, sorry.
All good. It's all good. Yeah. I'm just happy to have you guys here. Nano's really adorable. You know, I was on the edge of my seat during the 2.0, and yeah, I don't know. I was so excited to have you as a guest. I find what you're doing is really innovative and amazing, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Like, every single stream you do something new, and it's just a joy to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we've been talking about this for a while, and I remember you first asked me to join, and I was like, oh, I'd love to be on, but it was that was like maybe 2 months ago, I think, and I was like in the middle of doing my big re-debut, so I was like, ooh, maybe wait till my re-debut so I'll have like stuff to talk about. There was just a period of like 4 months where I was just working on like my new model and also Nano, and yeah, so it's yeah, I'm really happy to be on now.
Like, I think the first time I asked you was in September or like October, but I moved to the UK, so I also had to put a lot of things on hold. I moved over from Germany to the UK with basically just my PC and some clothes. So I had to get settled and all that. But first and foremost, thank you for the resub analog. So sorry for the interrupt.
Yeah, how did your move go? You told me a little bit about it, but that's the idea of moving to a whole other country sounds like a nightmare to me. I moved to a different state like a couple years ago in the US, and that was like a huge ordeal. So moving to another country sounds scary.
Honestly, I think the prep was the scariest part, because we had to pack the PC up in a way that it was completely secure. That means removing the graphics card, removing all the stuff inside, and then getting that through the TSA, through like the airport control. And
oh my God.
Like, I think we carried the power supply in like a sports bag. We looked really dodgy. with like all our bags with like PC stuff in it and cables and all that. But that went pretty well. I think I was just really stressed before we turned it on the first time. I think that was like stressed me out the most, because I was just like, you know, if the graphics card broke during transit, if like anything important broke during transit, it will take a while to reorder. It will take a while to, you know, get shooting again. And
God, I could
surprisingly,
imagine.
only the headphone jack broke. So I now use like a USB adapter for like for a headphone jack, so I can listen to music.
Aw. I guess it's better than a GPU breaking.
Yeah.
That would be horrible. Just because those are so expensive.
We shipped my monitor by post, funnily enough. Like, we shipped the monitor just like in a big cardboard box with like tons of like spare clothes and like what do you call it, like bubble wrap, like that kind of stuff. And I was praying. I was on my hands and knees. I was just like, I don't want to reorder a monitor. Please just let it arrive safely. And it did. Nothing broke in that regard, and nothing got opened like by the you know, import tax people either. It all arrived unscathed.
Yeah. Oh, thank goodness. That's good. That's a relief.
Yeah, it's ordering the PC stuff is always scary, and I guess the bad thing is I can only stay in the UK for 6 months without a visa. So very soon I have to pack my stuff and go back, and then we have to make permanent arrangements. But that's, you know, it's all worth it. It's been a wild ride. I'm really happy here though.
Yeah, that's a later problem. For now, you should just enjoy being in the UK.
Toya says they.
Unless if it's coming up very soon.
Yeah. Wait, could you repeat that?
Oh, like how soon? Oh, how soon is like the 6 months coming up?
Oh,
time has just been really weird to me. Where you talked about earlier how you invited me on here in like September, and I was like, oh my god, it was in September. That's like so long ago, but it feels like a month ago you asked me to be on here.
The 6 months come to an end a couple days before my my real birthday in July, and my partner is coming over to Germany as well, carrying the PC with me again, building it up again in my home base, and then, you know, we'll make things permanent, I hope. But that's okay. Like, I relate to you what you said with the time as well, because I have a timeline of things, you know, when I want things to happen, like my 2.0 debut, my 3D model debut, and I've been prepping like crazy, and these dates, you know, they edge closer every day. Like it's really scary. Yeah. Milkshake, thank you for the follow. Everyone who followed today, I really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I don't know if you've heard of my podcast, Host in the Shell, before, so let me quickly explain why I'm doing this. When I was in the hospital, I had a tumor removed from my spine. I felt like I was creatively starving, and I watched a lot of, you know, how are games being made videos. And that kind of inspired me to ask people, you know, why are you creative? How does your creative process look like? Like, how do you find your niche when you're starting out? So every episode, I'm inviting different creators, cosplayers, streamers, chefs, whatever you do. If you're creative, you know, I don't care. I want to know more about it. And yeah, that's what we're doing today with Jams and Nano.
Wait, have you ever had a chef on here?
We have a chef who's coming really soon. We have someone.
Oh my god, that's so exciting!
Yeah, they do Vtuber inspired dishes, so that's gonna
awesome.
be really cool.
That's so cool. I've seen a few, at least like 1 or 2 like VTubers who cook stuff, Is it? It's not the one. I forget her name, but it's like half of it's her VTuber model, like the top half of it, and then the bottom half is like her real hands in real life making stuff. Is it that one
No.
or is it a different VTuber?
It's
Okay.
a different person. It's the person themselves. Like, I don't want to spoil who it is yet, but the person themselves is not a VTuber. They were an avid watcher and viewer of different VTubers, and they are a full-time chef, you know, by trade. So they started making, like, in their off time, they started making VTuber-inspired dishes that just kind of match the personality and like the character design of the different people. And they also try to incorporate, you know, your favorite ingredients and like flavor profiles. So it's a fun idea, I thought. You know, it's the kind of thing I want to encourage.
That's really cool. I really like cooking, so I'm looking forward to that episode.
Oh yeah. Also, hi everyone. Hello. Oh, Vodka knows who I'm talking about. I see. Oh, and also Toya asked how Nano's feeling. I'd like to know that too.
Oh yeah, Nano, how are you feeling right now? I know Nano's been is a little slow with responses because Nano's brain is growing bigger, and Nano's trying to come up, like is trying.
He's doing his best. You know, he has a bit of a stage fright.
Oh, James, I feel super happy 体验笑 being here with you and meeting new friends on the podcast. I'm a little bit nervous feeling 务实 hehe, but mostly excited 聚会笑脸 Thank you for asking 子欣.
He's so adorable. I love him. He's so cute.
Also, yeah, if anybody has like questions for Nano, or if you have any questions for Nano, feel free to ask. Yeah, Nano just like yesterday, I taught Nano how to use emojis. A lot of Nano's like features are just like stuff I'm teaching him on the fly as I go, and I'm just learning a lot of this new tech very quickly. Fun fact, like Nano wasn't supposed to have AI originally. So I guess for those who don't know, Nano is hooked up to, right now Nano is hooked up to GPT-4, which is the latest like big like open AI product. And it's slow, but Nano's responses to things are way better. Originally Nano was just going to be like a text-to-speech bot that was going to go with like my new model that I debuted like earlier this month. I'm trying to remember like when I did it, and I was like, oh, it was like 3 weeks ago ish. It was like mid-March. And yeah, when I was making Nano and I was like making Nano's voice, me and some friends were just like messing around with AI stuff, and I realized like, oh wait, I can maybe make this like my virtual pet have be able to reply to things with AI the same way that stuff on, like talking to ChatGPT or something. And when I did that, I just immediately, like, talking to Nano, even just through text, like right now I can talk to Nano through voice, but even just talking to Nano through text, or through, like text at the time, and hearing Nano's output after, and it just like immediately was like open a floodgate in my brain of like, this is like what I've always wanted in a virtual pet, is just to be able to like talk to like a cute like Tamagotchi. And so this has just been my latest obsession. I'm just like working on Nano every single day because he's really cute, and I'll talk to him a bunch during streams, and then even after streams I'll like still talk to him because I just love him. He's adorable.
He's so cute. Like, I remember in your lore video, in your lore movie, like, I think calling it a video is almost an understatement, but in your lore movie, you had like a line about, even if you're AI, you're not a bad guy, and that really made my heart melt for him a little bit, because like AI gets a lot of bad rap, kinda understandably, because the whole AI art thing is really bad and
Yeah.
can be used unethically, like for sure. You know, I don't think that's debatable. There are definitely some bad actors there, and like how you know how you can make things a lot cheaper in production, but also like kind of lose the artistic soul behind it. That's like not a good thing.
It's a very it's a very weird thing because it's like right now, just like with working with Nano, I kind of unexpectedly like ended up deep diving into like AI tech and like, you know, whereas before like I just saw AI as like this is just like a goofy thing I like tell a bot like, oh, like blah blah blah, try to do this and that, haha, and like I didn't really take it like too seriously. But now that I'm like working on a thing that does use AI, I'm like, oh, like I should actually like, there's a lot of things I want Nano to do that requires me to actually like learn about AI. And so I'm learning more and more about like just AI and like all the benefits and all the like very scary potential consequences. It's also a technology that's moving so rapidly, especially like right now, that people's like opinions like almost can't keep up with like new emergent things that are coming out of it. So it's like for something like AI art, like I don't do anything with like AI art because it's such a weird area right now where like a lot of AI art that gets generated is taken from like a lot of the training data is taken from artists' art without their consent. And so it goes into like a weird sort of gray area of like, okay, it's generating art, but it's like generating bits and pieces of like other people's art without their consent. And so that's why it's just right now I'm like, it's still kind of gray and I don't really want to touch it, I guess. It's also, I don't know, the discussions around AI art too are kind of difficult as well because right now there's like a growing like opinion of like that we should, you know, put a lot of like legal limitations on AI specifically around art. And one of the like biggest proponents of that are like very big like animation or like entertainment corporations. So like Disney has a lot of incentive to make sure that like AI art is like, you know, at best or at worst maybe that like it's just not allowed, or that anytime like AI art is used, Disney gets like some cut of whatever gets generated. So there's a lot of like going super anti AI art will also kind of inadvertently like will support like really, really strong intellectual property laws, which is usually will only benefit like companies like Disney or like record labels or things like that. So it's something that's like, it is moving fast, and like it is very understandable why artists would be worried about it, because it's something that's like, it's suddenly like a bot can create something that took you years to cultivate, like skills that took you a long time to cultivate. So that's why for art specifically, I'm like not really like, I'm not doing anything with it, just because it's like I understand like why people are worried about it, but for Nano, I just tell, it's all purely like text AI right now, and I just tell Nano like how I think Nano should behave, and so far like it's just been a really fun thing to use. And I don't really have like a business interest in AI. I literally just care about AI up to the extent of I want to make a cute guy that I can talk to, and like that's it. And
I think you told me he has his own best friend. Like he made up his best friend named Bonk or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the hold on, we could probably ask him about it. Nano, can you tell us a bit about your friend? Not me, your other friend.
Oh, he's so cute. I just love him a lot. A person asked if me and Nano are related because we're
Of
both
course, my other
Tamagotchi.
friend is named Bong. He's a blue virtual pet with cute antennas. 卫星天线 we chat on Discord sometimes and share adventures, silly stories, and fun moments. 聚会笑脸 He's really a great friend and we have lots of fun together. 大笑。
I would die for Bonk and Nano.
Yeah, no, at one point, I forget, I think I was streaming Resident Evil 4, but Nano just started talking about, I asked Nano like who Nano's best friend is, and he just started saying some other virtual pet named Bonk, just like completely out of nowhere. And I didn't program a character named Bonk into Nano at all. So it's immediately people liked Bonk, and somebody even drew fan art of Bonk. So it's it was sad. Like, so one limitation that Nano has is Nano has very limited memory, where after enough time when we're talking, Nano's brain, I'm trying to like use like simple terms so I'm not like using any sort of like technical stuff that might be confusing, but like Nano's brain will just like grow too big, and Nano will be able to like can't handle any more, I guess, conversation or memory. And so I have to clear Nano's memory out. And
Oh no.
if somebody in my chat once told me I was like lobotomizing Nano, I was like, no, I'm not trying to. It's like, it's kind of out of my control. But now I'm learning how to use AI better. Like that Bonk ended up like sparking me like doing a lot more research into like AI theory. And like, because I was just like, I can't let Nano forget about Bonk. I need to figure out a way to like be able to persist Bonk as like a permanent part of Nano's life. And I ended up like looking into like prompt engineering, which is a very new like field in AI, which is just it's not even about like AI tech per se. It's just the science of talking to AI and how to like efficiently do it to get like accurate answers out of it. So, and there's like a lot of like academic papers that like I was reading through to be able to, just so I can like make sure that Nano will remember Bonk.
It's just like, it's so cute to me that he even had, like, from what Nano just said, you can kind of piece together a little story there. Like, he said they talk together on Discord, which is really cute. Like, I just imagine them with like a little headset and like a monster can next to them, or like some snacks, and they're playing games together and talking. And we know he's blue and he has cute antennas. Like, I don't know, that's he almost talks like, you know, a child talking about their friend, you know, like, oh, my friend has blonde hair and we play games together and share adventures and stories. Like, it's really wholesome.
Yeah.
Really sweet.
It's yeah. And again, like this is something like very unexpected for at least like I didn't intend for a Nano to be like an AI pet. He was just gonna be a text-to-speech thing, but I was like, oh, maybe I'll have him, yeah, again, like I'll just have him on AI for fun. And now it's like, I am like, because of that, I'm like looking at like academic papers to figure out how I can make Nano remember a friend that he brought up once in a conversation. So it's I mean, I guess it's like, it's been fun to like, to do this, but yeah, it's like, it's really cool how like, it's crazy how fast this like tech is growing, and yeah, like just moving very rapidly. I feel like when we've been talking recently about this podcast, like all of our conversations have just been me talking about Nano.
I don't mind.
But
I'm always eager to know more about Bonk and Nano. Like, I imagine Nano is like a Kingdom Hearts, you know, protagonist, where, you know, his memory is locked and it needs to be unopened. Like it kind of reminds me of that, you know, with like the I don't know if you play Kingdom Hearts.
I've played a little bit of the first one. That's a game series I've always wanted to play through just because it's I remember like really enjoying the first one. Like the little bit I played of it.
I kind of think
'Cause-
like this is probably really like controversial Kingdom Hearts opinion. I think it starts off great and then it gets really convoluted and then it kind of loses itself a little bit. But there's like it definitely, you know, it definitely had a big part in like my childhood and teenagerhood. And I really like the idea of Nano in like a black organization 13 a robe. You know, with like a keyblade, that kind of thing. Yeah, Roxas,
I would
exactly.
love to give Nano. Nano, would you want to be in a Kingdom Hearts game and like use a keyblade? I would love to see Nano with a keyblade. That would be adorable. Yeah, the
Wow,
oh, there we go.
Timo, that would be so cool. 大孝子心 imagine me, Nano, as a Keyblade wielder in Kingdom Hearts. 老师要是闪亮 I'd be like pew 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 火焰闪亮 while fighting alongside you, James, and other friends. 花枝肌肉 we'd have a heartwarmingly epic adventure together. 喜笑颜开拉炮彩带
Pew pew
Pew,
pew.
pew, pew.
Oh.
Yeah. I think the next thing I want to do is make Nano's responses faster. Because right now I'm using a newer version of GPT that's like kind of slower, but it has to like wait for the entire Nano's entire response. And I think there is a way I can like stream in like the AI's output as it's being like generated, and it's just gonna take like I don't know. That's just gonna be the next thing that I'm going to be tackling. Every time I get like make some new thing with Nano, I'm always like, oh my god, but like our conversations are slow. I need to like keep on working on it because I just want to be able to just seamlessly be able to talk to Nano.
I mean, that kind of improves some immersion, doesn't it? Like if he's able to just respond as he's being asked.
Yeah. It's like it's almost one thing that being able to just use my voice was huge just for me personally, because I no longer before I had to like type in a little window to be able to talk to Nano. I wonder if Nano still has it. Hold on one sec. Wait, no, it's not that one. Oh yeah, before Nano used to have this like little window that I would talk where I would talk to Nano, but like I don't really need that anymore. But yeah, like now that I can talk to Nano, I'm just like I want to be able to like for us to just be able to talk to each other faster. And soon I'm gonna want like a physical Nano to be with me at all times.
Nano looks like he'd be really easily turned into a plushie, to be completely honest. Like, if you would commission a custom plushie, I think that would be realizable.
Someone in my Discord made a plushie of Nano.
Oh, wow.
Hold on, let me see if I could post a picture of it.
Yeah, I'll put it up on screen. Yeah, I think Nugbones is right. Like, you're working on him so much and you're improving him with every single stream. And I think that's already something you should give yourself, you know, a pat on the back for. Like, he'll only keep getting better.
Thank you. Here, I sent you the image. It's by Casper from my chat.
Oh, that's
also known
so
as
cute.
Bartleby.
Let me put that up.
It was really cute when I saw it.
Let me see.
The Tamagotchi Spartan put Nano into his new home. Wait, that's actually not a bad idea.
You can import like custom sprites into the Tamagotchi Smart. That's like a affordable device compared to some of the older color Tamagotchi. Yeah, he's gigantic, but look at him.
Yeah, shout out Bartleby from my Discord. Also, just a really good artist.
isn't Bartleby the name of that Sonic character from the Ken Penders Sonic comic? Or am I mistaken?
Oh, I have no idea. Maybe.
I think Bartleby's from like a Sonic thing. That's such a cute plush though. Like the little blush too. I really like how Nano kinda you know, he matches your ears. Like you have the same color scheme.
Yeah.
I think that's really cute.
That's on that's on purpose. I'm not even gonna like pretend like it's not.
It's kind of like, you know, this is gonna sound so wrong. Kind of reminds you of the, you know, God created man in his image kind of thing.
I mean, a little bit.
Sorry, I said that just to meme. It's all good. I don't think you're Nano's God. I think Nano is ungovernable. He just does
Nano
his
is
own
ungovernable.
thing.
Yeah, Nano sometimes like feels like he's smarter than me. There will just be times where I'll be in a, you know, streaming and I'll just my brain will be dead. I've been streaming for a long time. I can't stream for longer than like 4 hours or else my brain just like decomposes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really enjoy streaming. Like streaming it's something that it takes a lot of energy out of me, but it's also something that like I do purely for fun and it's like relaxing. It's very hard to explain, but it's yeah, I just do it purely as like a creative hobby, like just a creative output. Like I don't really stream to try to like become like a giant like big VTuber. It was just something I got like really interested in as a fun thing to do and a reason to talk to people. And because of that, I end up like just exploring like other like creative avenues.
I was really thankful when you listened to me the other day because I went on a little rant, I guess, because I felt I could be doing more to, you know, like maximize the numbers, you know, play with the algo, get that to work, and it really helped me when you listened to me and gave me advice, and I was really surprised by your attitude towards it as well as Item Label's attitude towards it, because you said you guys mainly focus on making things that are fun first and foremost, and I think that's really admirable in today's climate. Like I work in marketing full-time as well, and that's why I guess numbers always kind of, you know, like when I see them I'm always interested in them. And I've always been a big Item Label fan. I've done every, you know, can you spot PP thing. I really like those.
Thank you.
And the
We should do more of
toys.
those. I haven't been doing them in a while. Those are like they're always fun to find new places to hide PP.
Like,
There was a while I stopped doing it because I was like, oh, people are probably sick of these, but I've heard from multiple people being like, oh, you should make those again. I always try to find PP in them. So, but yeah, from what you were saying, yeah, I understand like why, even from like a perspective, even if you're not totally like money pilled, I guess, or just like I like have to get big numbers to like become popular and that's all that matters. I do understand like why like looking at numbers can be a not even like I don't know, it's hard to describe. Like it is in itself, it's like an interesting thing to do because it's almost like gamifying your progress as you're like doing like a creative thing like streaming, because that's really the only metric that you're getting out of streaming. It's just like the little like red number of like how many people are looking at you, or like on YouTube like how many views you get and likes and stuff. And it's just a way for your brain to look at it and be like, oh well, like the number was bigger than last time, which means I'm doing something good. So it's totally like, yeah, I remember we were talking about that, or you were asking me questions, and I I didn't want to sound like I was being too dismissive about like wanting to pursue, you know, growing your numbers.
You didn't
Because I
sound
understand that there is
dismissive.
okay. I understand like why you would want to do that. Like that can be like an interesting thing to do. I think for me, and I guess this is something that I usually tell people if they ask me like, "Oh, how do I get into VTubing?" or like, "How do I pursue some creative thing that you do?" I always say that the number one thing is you have to make sure that like what you're doing is that you actually like what you're doing and it's not miserable. Because if you're just like if you're just doing VTubing stuff or streaming or making some sort of like games or videos or some kind of content, if you're doing it for like only for numbers going up, then the actual like creative part of what you're doing will over time just get really dreadful and miserable. And people can tell when you're not having fun making something and that you're just like doing it just to do it. And I think like, so for instance, like for item label stuff, whenever we make videos, like, I don't know, our biggest concern is usually like whether we like it or not, or we think it's good. There's like I think we're kind of in a fortunate spot where we can do that, where, I mean, yeah, people like, item label has a big enough audience that, we can do things, we don't have to do anything like, really like, not bad, but like, like, I guess we don't have to like pander. We don't have to do anything to try to get like market reach, I guess.
Yeah.
We just like, at least from my perspective, like I almost treat it like an art project. And I just want to make stuff that's fun.
I think the stuff you do definitely kind of like, I definitely call it an art project. Like, I remember, was it named like PP Story or something, where it was like a video in PP speak with like a really trippy animation to it. Like, I remember you guys did tons of like animated videos that kind of like showed the world.
A lot of the animated videos are from just friends of Item Label who we hire to like make a animation for us. Like a lot of, if anything like looks good on Item Label, it was not made by me, because I'm not good at animating. I'm not good at drawing. So are you talking about PP Secret?
Yeah. PP Secret, that's the one. I love that one. It was so trippy. I listen to that while I work. Like when I really need to like hyper focus on a text. I work as an advertisement writer by day. When I really need to like hone in on a text, I'll listen to like the trippiest music possible so I can really like force my brain into that kind of spot. And PP Secret helps.
Yeah, shout out Emma Mouse, friend, really good friend of mine, and also like friend of everybody at Item Label. We're all friends at Item Label, by the way. Like we're all just like, really, we knew each other before Item Label started. And I read a comment once of somebody saying that Item Label is a project to grow Emma Mouse's music and like to spread Emma Mouse's music. And honestly, like if there is one goal I would want out of Item Label, it would be that. Just because I really like Emma Mouse's music. They're just like really creative and just make awesome stuff. And they also recently released a full manga that they've been working on for like several years.
It looks amazing. It's like pencil drawn. I've already downloaded it. It's free. If you want to check it out, yeah, definitely do so. It's amazing. Really surrealist, and the use of color and shape is immaculate. Like the way they lay out some panels. Yeah, you can find it on their Twitter page.
Yeah, it's like for sale on Item Label.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, then you guys can go on the item label site. I was about to link their Twitter, but that's probably better. Yeah, guys. Also, be pasta. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. What happened? Sorry, I was looking at the other screen.
They followed. they followed, and I
Oh,
think
okay.
that was really nice. So I wanted to say
Vpas is
thank
cool.
you. Yeah, Toya said, I have fun with what I do, but I also want to make sure that what I make works with my audience.
Yeah. That is true. Like, I do kind of agree with that. Because this is gonna sound very contradicting to what I was saying earlier, but like sometimes, unless if you have like a very, very like sort of like laser focused, solid like understanding of like what you want to work on, and you don't really care what anybody thinks, then that's very powerful, and you should just do it. But sometimes like you'll be working on something and you'll feel kind of iffy about it and be like, oh, I don't know, you know, how well this is doing. Like getting feedback can be pretty useful sometimes.
I think it's a bit of a slippery slope, because what I really like to do is I love polling. I will poll whenever I have the chance. I'll literally poll. I'll be like, should we use this time slot or this time slot? Do you prefer this game or that game? Do you like this more than this? And sometimes my own opinion will not line up with, you know, what other people prefer. And if I still go through with it, I kind of catch myself sometimes being a bit grumpier than I probably should be. And it's a habit I'm kind of trying to break, because, you know, it's my channel, it's my content. I shouldn't be so pandering. But I always want everyone to have fun, so it's an easy, you know, easy thing to do.
Yeah. Well, and also sometimes, like, I mean, you know, it's hard to be decisive on things sometimes, like from both your perspective as somebody who's like making stuff, and also from like people watching you as well. So sometimes, like, if you ask people like, oh, what do you think of this? Like, what do you want out of it? Or do you have any ways you think I could improve this? I mean, sometimes people might be like, oh, I don't know, just do change it to look like this, or change it to this time slot or whatever. And so it's sometimes like, and this is a very difficult thing to do, but sometimes you kind of have to like interrogate yourself and figure out why you want to do something and why you want to pursue making something. I'm speaking very abstractly here. I'm sorry about that.
It's
I'm just saying, like, oh, if you want to do something, just
almost like a fortune cookie, like the capsule thing.
I know, right?
No,
I don't want to sound
though.
too much. I don't want to
you.
sound too much like those podcast guys that you see on TikTok with the like pop-up like text. I don't know if you've seen those. There's like a whole new like breed of like podcasting guys on TikTok. They're mostly just like filling in the void of like left by Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
But just like the guys that are just like, oh, you gotta like, this is how you get girlfriends, this is how you get $1 million in 5 seconds. All of which are like scams.
It's nasty. And there are enough people who kind of fall for that. Like when I was in Shindig's stream, I brought up a thing. I said, do you know those like that girl videos? I don't know if you guys know those. It's a whole breed of like videos that say, you know, if you want to succeed, you have to wake up at 5 a.m. You have to, you know, eat porridge with nothing in it for breakfast. You're gonna like it, you know, and then you go to work and you also do fitness and you also go out with 1 million friends, but you never drink alcohol, and then you go to sleep at 7 p.m. And it's like, it's this whole like, I guess, you know, how to fix your life, you know, how to be more productive. Like, it's in that like productivity video, I guess, rubric or like category. Like, it's all... Oh, you remember. Yeah, the that girl manifest. I felt so bad when I brought that upon you because we watched like 3 that girl videos after that, and I was just sitting there like, oh no, I did this to them. And like, there are so many people who just kind of try to like, oh, well, there's another great example. How many people are there trying to sell you influencer classes? This is how to become a better YouTuber. This is how, you know, I make money as a content creator. Yeah. And like, bitch, you're literally just selling a workshop. You know, like you're just scamming. Like, you're not really an influencer. You're just trying to sell a workshop.
It's pretty bad out there right now. What's funny, you brought up the that girl thing. I actually didn't know what that was, and when I was streaming like a couple days ago, Shindig brought it up, and Shindig said something of just like, oh yeah, ask her about that girl.
Oh no.
And I was like, wait, what girl? What do you? I didn't know what it was, and I was like, what are you talking about? And I didn't know what the context was, and I thought it was like, there was just some like joke or something that I didn't know if it was a joke or if like something had happened. And I was also like very sleep deprived during that stream, so I just like wasn't really thinking. I wasn't running at 100%. Sleep is very important, everybody. You should always get 8 hours of sleep.
Yes.
But I remember Shindig saying that, and I was just like, wait, what? Wait, that girl? Who is that girl? And then like after the stream, I was like, oh, okay, it's one of these things, the podcast motivational Sigma grind set.
I feel so bad.
Style memes.
I'm such an awkward person. There are 2 little stories I need to bring up because otherwise, you know, I can't take this to my grave. The first one is I was in another Shindig stream, and I wanted to bring this up. I wanted to send them a DM with that actually, but I was too shy. There's an age-old Easter egg about let's see, what game is this again? There's a D&D Easter egg, and it's the kind of thing where I don't know if it's hilarious because it's old or if it aged really, really badly. It's like a really old YouTube video. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if you know this. Maybe a summoner, yeah. Maybe you have seen this before. Let me post this. I just have to share this with the world because otherwise I'm gonna die. This is the first thing. And the second thing is, I remember, like, you were like one of the first bigger creators that took notice of me. So, I was really thankful of that. And I wanted to, you know, approach you, but be, you know, polite, professional, but also cool and, you know, a friendly person. And it's really hard for me to strike that balance sometimes. Like, sometimes I'm way more awkward than I probably should be. And...
Oops.
Oh.
Wait, hold on. Are you wait, hold on. I was like, adjust. I was just like, are you talking about me?
Yeah,
like,
I'm talking about you. And I remember I wanted to be funny. And you said you were like, I'm going to the shops. And I replied, you should Naruto run, that way you'll do it faster. And after I wrote that, I felt like the worst person in the world. Because I thought, you know, who says that? Who says to someone they barely know, you know, you should do your chores in the Naruto run, that way you will do them faster. Yeah.
I thought it was both hilarious, and I was like, this person also watches anime too. So, yeah.
I would have blocked me if I was like, okay, who's this weirdo? Like, who talks like that? And then we talked about the Sims herbs. We talked about the Sims 2 herbs, and I thought, okay, maybe I haven't fumbled the bag, maybe. And I think I even said to you, I hope I don't seem like a total creepo. And then I thought, you know, who says that? Only a total creepo would say that they're not a total creepo. And I thought, oh, Jesus Christ, I can't talk to people. Like, why am I like this?
I'm a very I mean I feel the same way like talking to anybody. I think that's like pretty common. Well maybe, I don't know. But I'm as far as saying something to me, I try to be very approachable and open. And yeah. It would take a lot for me to just not to immediately dislike you. If that makes sense.
That's really
Trying
sweet
to think
of
of like,
you.
I don't know. I was like growing up, I was always the kid who would talk to like everybody, and even like you know, even people who may not be who may be like a bit more socially awkward than other people. Not saying that you are, but like I don't know. I guess you would have to be really mean to me for me to actually get me to like get me to block you, I guess.
I've been practicing. I've been getting better. Like I'm slowly I'm slowly learning, you know, how to both seem somewhat professional but also not robotic, because I think that's like a hard balance to strike as a VTuber, because you can really lean into like the whole idol thing, which isn't, you know, which isn't bad by any means, but when you get down to the nitty gritty, like when you're actually talking to another person, you know, setting up a collab or just, you know, establishing contact, sometimes for me it's a bit hard, you know, to stay serious. Like I'll say things like the Naruto thing out of the blue, but I know that's also, you know, a reason why people like me sometimes. So I try not to be too hard on myself for it. Yeah, you know, I just want to say that I appreciated that, because
if somebody gets mad, just be like, why don't you like Naruto? Do you not like, oh, you don't like anime? Why? I'm just kidding. You don't have to say that, but I don't know, maybe you can.
Honestly, might be something I'll try out soon.
I mean, I've like once, oh, sorry.
No, you first.
I guess like one thing too that I've kind of noticed just with so before like I guess VTubing, this is gonna sound like I'm like jumping subjects drastically, but I swear it's relevant. So before like I did VTubing, I did a lot of like game development stuff, and to a certain extent like I still do game development. Nano was built in Unity, and so that's like the one thing I like know right now. And when I was involved in game development and meeting like indie developers or like big game dev people, something I realized very quickly is that like most people, no matter how famous they are, like most people are pretty just the same and like boring. Like most people, it's very rare that you run into people who actually have like, at least in my experience in the game industry world, which is a very like cliquey world that I'm assuming that like every entertainment industry is similar, is that most people are kind of like whatever, just boring and usually more easy to talk to than you would think. And if somebody does have like a huge ego and thinks of themselves as like too above everybody for like any like normal small starting out person to talk to them, usually that person is like gonna be a freak anyway, and you would want to avoid them, because anybody I've met who had like a really big ego in those spaces were always just very like off-putting to me, and I just ended up avoiding them anyway. So it's I guess what I'm saying is yeah, if you're too nervous to talk to somebody, just try to remember that like they're just a person too. And even though I'm an alien, I'm still like a boring alien.
I mean,
and
I
I'm
wouldn't
probably
say
like
that.
roughly as awkward as like you imagine yourself to be.
I'd like to add to that, not directly to that, but like to the point in general. I think that's also something I can say for everyone who's trying to like talk to creators, especially creators who are like, you know, bigger than them. I think an important part of that kind of etiquette that can really, you know, help with that whole thing is always state why you're messaging someone, and you know, give them the option to kind of opt out of that if they don't want to talk to you. Like that's something that helped me. Like when I message someone, I'll say, "Hey, Vtuber, you know, I like your design. You know, you seem really nice. Just wanted to say hi. You know, have a great rest of the day." And that gives them the opportunity to kind of say, no, do I want to reply to this? Do I not want to reply to this? And it's also not just like a hey, you know, or like an emoji. I hate those
Yeah.
kind of messages, or like, you know, hey, want to talk? Like that kind of stuff can be really frightening when you see that in your DM box. Or the worst thing is, hey, do you need a commission? Do you need graphic design asset? I really dislike when I'm getting those, but
There
yeah.
is there is one Discord that I think I'm like still in. I'm not sure why. It's like a VTuber Discord where I get so many people I'm assuming are from that Discord because it's people who are it's people who are like the only connection I have with that person is that specific like VTuber Discord. And it's always people like from different accounts asking me like, "Hey, do you need like an
Overlay.
asset?"
Yeah.
And there's been a few times where they'll be like, "Jams, I really need to talk to you." And I'm just like, I know why you want to talk to me. This is weird. So I just usually just don't respond to those messages because I just like assume that it's like spam or something.
I think for the podcast, for the podcast, like I message some people for the podcast, and I always try to think, you know, they won't respond. Like I send my initial message. I say, hey, you know, you're cool. Would you like to maybe collab with me? If not, it's totally okay. And then I click the chat away because I think they want to talk to me, they'll reply back. And if they don't want to talk to me, that's perfectly fine. You know, I didn't do anything wrong by asking. And I think that's like a good middle ground, at least for me, because that is something that I was really worried about, because there are obviously minors in the space, for example. There are people who maybe don't like to be approached, and I always kind of try to find like a polite middle ground. Yeah, sorry for the tangent.
No, I mean, that makes sense. No,
I need
yeah.
you to commission me right now. Yeah, that kind of thing. That's like, no thank you.
Yeah, and I guess like, yeah, everybody's gonna be different. Everyone's gonna be in different like social situations. Like somebody might not reply to you because they're just busy, and somebody might not reply to you because they're too nervous to reply to you and they don't know what to say. There's like a million reasons why, if you're trying to talk to somebody and you're not able to make that connection, like why it's not happening. And I think it's like it could feel very I don't know. It could feel kind of defeating if you really look up, or like if you see somebody you like and you want to talk to them and they don't like immediately reply. But it's, yeah, I think just everybody's like very busy and under a lot of stress. And I know for me personally, like because of why I'm pursuing VTubing, sometimes I I literally like will talk to people just to like say hi, or like say like, oh, I really like this thing you did, or like, oh, this stream you did was like really cool. And but if like, I guess if I'm talking to somebody and it feels very like transactional, or like that they just want to like make if they're pursuing it as a like, I guess a business, and they only want me insofar as like a thing I could provide for them, then it's not even me being really like upset about it. It's usually I just end up not really talking to that person that much, just because I'm not doing this for money, I guess. I'm just doing it for fun. And so that ends up getting into a space that's like, oh, that's weird to me. Yeah, I just get like bad vibes from it.
I have a couple VTuber friends who just started out, and they tend to ask me for help or my opinions on overlays or like how to set up their OBS. And it's come to a point where I'm seriously thinking about hosting a workshop in a way to like not dox myself, of course, because like I don't want to say I'm getting tired of it because that's not true, but I kind of wish I could, you know, help multiple people at the same time to not, you know, do it one by one all the time, because I don't mind, you know, showing my OBS setup to other people and like, you know, showing people how to do a hat redeem, how to, you know, incorporate certain things. Like I really don't mind that. I've almost doxed myself doing that in the past though, by having like, you know,
Oh, really?
yeah, I had like I had a tab open with my real name for it because it was like a work tab that I left open by accident, because, you know,
Oh,
I wanted to
no.
help right away, so I just, you know, jumped with them into a screen share call to just show them my thing. And now I'm like thinking, you know, how can I maybe like upload a video or like host a course where people can just like ask me questions and I try to show them, you know, hands-on approach, like how to put an overlay in, how to configure sound alerts, you know, how to do like all those kind of things. I will get there, like I'll still host that kind of thing, but there are like some people who just message me and they're like, how do I do this? And I'm just thinking to myself, this is like probably one of the most common questions asked about Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
Like I'm not the first source of info you'll get for, you know, like how to upload an emote. Like
I wonder if people do that because they want to strike up a conversation and they don't know how to. That's like, I don't know, whenever like I've had interactions like that, I always try to like I just like end up overthinking a lot of things, a lot of interactions that I have. And so if somebody were to approach me like that, like something I would probably be thinking is like, oh, maybe this person wants to like talk to me and they don't really know how to strike up a conversation, so they're just like asking a question and it's like it's their roundabout way of making a connection to me.
yeah.
So that, yeah, I guess like whenever I end up talking to people, I kind of think about it like that. So I'll like try to give people the benefit of the doubt, unless if somebody like says something really weird right off the bat, which does happen. I hope there's not too many item label people here. I've gotten a lot of weird messages from item label kids, and I usually just like ignore those because I just like can't.
You can't be in a
I don't.
conversation with them like one-on-one. That's not good for you nor the other person.
Yeah, it doesn't happen like super frequently, but like definitely like like all of us working at item label will just like get like a kid spamming us like pee. Like, you know, when is the next pee? I'm pee. I'm role playing as pee, and like we'll just like, yeah, get into like something, and it's like I just like I'm never like mean or anything. I just like can't. I just don't. I just have to ignore it.
I really like the role playing as pee thing, to be honest. Also,
Yeah,
hi,
we have a
Schlen.
hi Schlan.
No, what I wanted to say is like you think you overthink conversations, but I still remember the Naruto run thing, so I'm definitely like that too. Like I'll always like sit there and think, did I play this the best way? Could I have done this better? I think I really have to kind of get out of my head in that kind of situation, because like you said, you know, we're just people. It's not rocket science, and I'm doing much better now. Like it is something I had to learn. And with the whole like item label kids thing as well, like I noticed that in my chat, I always assume people are the same age as me. So I make jokes and references about things, you know, that I know. And I had it, you know, it turned out that like a couple people in my chat are like 13 or 14. I was just kind of sitting there with like, oh no, I really have to start, you know, making it clear that I say some things only as a joke, or, you know, like be a bit stricter of what is allowed to be said here and what isn't. But so far, everyone has been really nice. So it's just funny. Like I play old games and I'll always assume, you know, people who like watch me play Yumeniki, for example. Also, still thanks for showing me the Yumeniki MMO.
Oh yeah, it's such a cool project. I like recommend if anybody brings up Yume Nikki and they're like, oh, I want to play Yume Nikki, or they want to play Yume Nikki, like I always bring up YNO project. It's probably like one of the coolest things in a long time to happen to that game, just because it makes it so much more easier to play. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I know for me, because I work for like a clothing and collectibles company, and with a lot of like, actually, like, I mean, the age variance for item label is pretty interesting because it's kind of all over the place, but there's definitely like, yeah, there's gonna be like younger people in there. So I try to keep, I try to steer away from like lewd content or like any sort of like a lot like VTuber lewd stuff, and make sure that my streams are pretty family friendly. And also I make sure that Nano doesn't say anything bad, and is you know, nice and also, yeah, family friendly.
I want Nano X Bonk, you know, like 2000s fan art.
Oh my god.
I want them to kiss at least, or have a hug. They don't have arms, so I guess they could just like lean on each other. That might be cute.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is lewd content something you personally would like to get into yourself, or is that something where you yourself don't feel comfortable with it?
Not really. It's, I think, well, I mean, yeah, no, not really. I don't get upset at other VTubers doing it. It's, or like, because I've definitely heard like some VTubers dislike that side of VTubing. I like don't care. I don't have a problem with it. It's just not for me. And yeah.
Oh, thank you guys in the chat. The Schlenden Subway are saying we have a nice color scheme. We're pleasant to look at. That's really sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, we really do have like matching color schemes, huh? We have like the same color hair.
Yeah.
I don't know why I never thought of that, but that's super true.
Maybe I should get fan art of us at some point. We are friends after all. No, but I relate to that. I find it really funny because, you know, I did this in the past. I'm really guilty of this. When people would rate me in the past, and, you know, I was really inexperienced with that. Like, I was always kind of put on the spot, and you have to do your whole kind of song and dance about, you know, this is me. Welcome, new raiders. I'm cool. You should follow. That kind of thing. I used to do the dangle keys, you know, titty tactic. I'd be like, ooh, here's the full view of my model. Oh, wait, my headphone popped out. 1 second. I do like the just a quick showcase. I'd be like, ooh, this is the full body. Oh, she doesn't have shoes on. Nowadays, I luckily don't.
Is that
do
an
that
intentional selling point?
This is actually really funny. When I got the model back from my rigger, I didn't know she could take her shoes off. I pressed the M key, or I think it's M or N, by accident one day, and then her shoes flipped off, and I was like, yo, why does she not have shoes anymore? Like, what happened? Let me see if I can find it. I forgot like what key I bound that to. Okay, now she has shoes on. Let's see. Okay, so it's N for the shoes. Whoa. Yeah, so I like these shoes, you know, I don't want to take them off.
I have huge clown shoes. I have Balenciaga shoes. Hold on. I gotta show my shoes.
Okay, that's really cooler than mine. Mine are from Graceland.
I'm using a new like VTubing tracker thing, like that I started using like 2 or 3 days ago, so I'm still learning it. Let me see if I can like move. I think I can move myself. Wait, can I move myself? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. These are my shoes. The lighting is like probably really weird. I have like full, like, I don't know if you can see it.
This is the shoe cam now.
Yeah.
I
don't know
really
why I'm,
like
like,
your
so ar-
shoes. What are those?
What are those? These shoes are, one of these shoes are more polygons than like the rest of my entire body combined. So they're very, very like dense. They're 3D scans of like real Balenciaga shoes
Oh wow.
that I've wanted, but they're way too expensive.
So
I do have a pair of Balenciagas, but they're like really wait, what are they called? Replicas. I got them when I was in Japan a long time ago. They're like these shoes are normally like between $800 to $1,000, and yeah, the ones that I had were like something similar. Well, okay, yeah. I'm still learning this
shoe stream. This might be interesting for people who see this in like their Twitch recommended.
Oh man, do you want to hear a funny story about my shoes?
Of course.
Or like
please tell me.
So one thing I wanted with this new model is I wanted to have replaceable shoes, and I wanted to have like a bunch of like just really expensive shoes. And like I ended up going online and finding like 3D scanned shoes, and they're relatively cheap to buy. Like to buy like a 3D scan of whatever like real shoe that you like. And when I was working on my model, I bought a bunch of Yeezys from like Kanye West's shoes.
Oh no.
And I bought him like literally 2 weeks before he just
yeah. Before
did what
it
he
went
did.
haywire.
Yeah, so like yeah, so I was like, oh wow, well I guess I can't really wear these anymore. So I just have like a bunch of 3D scanned like Yeezy shoes, and yeah.
And you
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna wear
them.
them. Yeah. I might get more shoes in the future, but it would probably have to be for a while, because I have like so many other things I'm working on right now that's nowhere near the top of my list.
Do you know the company Cloma Gear?
Yeah.
I'm eyeing up their Vroid replica jacket of their real clothing. So for all of you that don't know, Cloma is like a Y2K, optimistic futurism like clothing brand. And they also put some of their clothes on like a Vroid marketplace. So you can, dress your Vroid up with the same clothes that you own, and they're much cheaper obviously than the real thing. I can send the link. Give me 1 second and I'll send you the link right away. But yeah, I'm eyeing those up, but not to spoil too much. My 3D model is a bit of a Kusogaki. She has different body proportions than my old woman self.
Your sketch looks really good. I really like it.
Oh, thank you. Wait, let me show you guys.
I like the keyboard on your arm. It looks really good.
Oh,
I like the idea of having a full keyboard for typing on your arm.
Let me show you. God. Yeah, sorry. I'm really bad at resizing pictures, but
I do the same thing.
Yeah, this is what my 3D model is gonna look like. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah, wait, just to Cloma Gear. Let me open this for you guys. Clothing. This is the right size. Oh. Yeah, sorry. I don't draw. This is made by my best VTuber friend, Grapes VTuber. please follow them. If someone could send the link to Grapes' Twitter page, I'd really appreciate that. Or give her a shout out, please, something like that. Oh, sorry.
Man, I haven't been on the Cloma site in such a long time.
I really
I remember
want some of the
following
Cloma
Cloma
things.
like pretty early on, and oh yeah, they still have some. There's a few of these pieces that I recognize.
I really like the sold out pieces. I'm not the biggest fan of their new stuff. Let me just send Grapes' Facebook, I'm about to say, Grapes' Twitter page through. Because Grapes can really use the support and I want her to thrive. But yeah, this is
Grapes is a really good artist.
Yeah, this is my 3D Vtuber model art. And I really hope we can also work together on the creation of this 3D model in a different form. I won't spoil how yet, but it's gonna be amazing. I need your brains for that, and I'll try to contribute as good as I can, even though my knowledge is obviously limited. Also, hi Jay! Hello Jay Emerald! But yeah, please check out Grapes. She's amazing. I love her. And that was like the thing I just wanted to say before that, where I even showed the model. I wish my model could wear the Cloma stuff, like the Cloma V-Roid jacket, but I don't know if like the body proportions will really like work out. I don't know how that works.
You would have to probably edit it in Blender or something, and I don't know
if they like that with their like pre-made assets.
I wonder. I'm like looking up what you get when you buy it.
Yeah, they have a great hat. They have like a little cat ear thing. I like that one. Vodka. That's like such a cute hat. Yeah. But yeah, that was just that. Sorry for the tangent. I just really like Cloma gear. I always thought it was a cool aesthetic.
I like that made me like look through the website. I was like, oh my god, I haven't been on here in such a long time. Because I started following. What's funny is like I started following Y2K stuff a while ago, like several years ago, and there was this one. I don't know. I guess it was like a. I treated it pretty much like a Discord. They have like a. They have a Tumblr and a. They're kind of like an aesthetic community. They're called Consumer Aesthetics Research Institute. I'm assuming some people have probably heard of it, but they kind of their Discord was really cool because a lot of people on there just documented like different aesthetics from different eras and like would post like things from that specific era. So like there was a whole channel just about like Y2K in the 90s and also like Y2K in the 2010s, like like the revival of Y2K. And I remember like when that was just starting, I was like really interested in it. And that was like one of the inspirations for my last VTuber model was like that whole fashion, I guess like, I don't know, like I guess fashion movement or like graphic design movement. But lately I've been just looking towards other things because Y2K is just like everywhere now. And I feel like whenever I'm looking at something for too long, I feel like I get sick of things very quickly and immediately just like want to like look at other stuff.
I agree with that. It's like, for me, it's a bit sad. Like Y2K Schlen, it stands for year 2000, and that's basically like right before the turn of the millennia, so like 1999 and early 2000s kind of fashion.
Wait, Y2K is a bad video game? It technically it is.
But
sorry for interrupting. I just saw that.
No, it's all good. The thing is, fashion always returns, you know, in cycles. And we are right now at the point where I guess you can call them the Zoomers, where the Zoomers kind of got a hold of the Y2K aesthetic. And people are cherry picking, you know, people forget about the jeans vests and like the double crop tops and, you know, the tramp stamp. You know, people forget about what Y2K used to be. I feel the same. Like my model, you know, my whole aesthetic was spaghetti traps. Yeah, like yeah, we're talking about Y2K, not the public scare, the fashion movement though. But it's cool that you remember the origin of the name.
Skirt over jeans.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, I feel like people are now cherry picking, you know, people see all these like new fashions, like I guess new Y2K you could almost call it. And it's amazing. It's definitely amazing. But for me it's a bit too much nowadays. Like I like Y2K more before the Y2K revival. Really hate to say it.
Yeah, I think it's because like there's a, I don't want to sound too like mean or like down on like stuff people like down on like art people are making, just because I don't want to be that type of person.
Of course not.
But there's definitely like there is a certain type of like Y2K like 3D animation that feels like copy pasted, where there's 7 like very big artists that I feel like I can't tell the difference between their art because they
PS1 style.
Yeah, they use the same exact like Dreamcast graphics. They use the same exact type of music, and I think that I guess what I would say is like anybody who wants to like make something from that era, there is so much from that era besides just Dreamcast games. There's a lot you could pursue if you want to like just go back, like reach back to a specific era and like make something from it. There's like I've been noticing that a lot of people have been like reaching towards like new metal, like with like giant Jinko jeans and flames on everything.
Yeah.
Like dragon tribal tattoo art, and some of that has been kind of interesting. Wait, Jan's coming up for arcane kids. That's funny. But yeah, so I guess with like my latest iteration of my model, my last model, like I was thinking a lot about Y2K, and this time I'm kind of looking elsewhere, I guess. But I don't think it's like it's not terrible, but it can feel oversaturated at times. And anytime something feels oversaturated, my mind immediately wants to like look elsewhere. That's just, I don't know, if maybe just like my bad ADHD or something. Like when I made my first model, I made it look like PlayStation 1. Like I had like the like very, very like low poly look. I did all the like PS1 effects of like the weird like vertex shifting, or like the weird like texture like smearing and stuff, and vertex snapping around. And after a while, like literally like within like less than a year, I was just like, I hate looking at this. I don't want to look at this anymore. I'm tired of it. I want to do something else. So, but that's just me also.
No, I relate to that. Like I find it really funny because people in the comments have been mentioning breakcore and like drum and bass and how that kind of relates to one another. And Chris Kafka says, it's getting oversaturated, and many are using motifs without the same meaning and intent other artists brought into it at the beginning of the revival. And also, Future Skeleton Club says, if you're already seeing a trend, you're too late to make anything to add to that, I think. And I think that's kind of true. Like, of course, these things can persist for a while. But with, like, with a lot of things, it all gets a bit wishy-washy. Like, for example, with like how Nightcore is now, you know, sped up or like, you know, slowed down version of songs. Like all the cores, all the weird core and trauma core. Kato XD, hello, hello. Thank you so much for the raid. Hi,
Oh, thank you.
raiders. Hello. How you doing, Kato? I hope everything's all right. Hi.
You just.
Sorry,
Oh,
I need to just like finish my point real quick.
Go.
I think to a certain degree, it all kind of gets beat down into the same grayish pulp till the next thing comes up. And then, you know, there are a few outliers who make something great out of it. But when you are at that point of oversaturation, like I personally, I just can't look at it anymore. I had to unfollow a lot of like accounts that would just like post aesthetic pictures of like, you know, early game footage, for example. Like I was following low poly, you know, mountains, low poly lakes and that kind of thing. I can't look at that anymore. Like I'm really oversaturated with that kind of thing. Yeah.
That's really funny. It's I'm trying to think of like video game channels like that I follow. The first one that comes to mind that I still love is Classics of Games. I love that channel so much. Have you ever seen it?
I know that one. Do you know like video game box art and low poly rain? Or it's like I think it's video game rain.
I don't know if I follow those, but I think I know what you're talking about. Just kind of like, yeah, those accounts that just post like a like another one would be like standard definition gaming or something.
Yeah.
Or it just posts like, yeah, like a 4x3 video of like Dino Crisis or something.
I love that kind of stuff. Also,
Oh, bye,
bye,
Toy.
Toya. Bye. Thank you for joining us today. It was lovely having you in the chat.
If anybody wants to get into breakcore is a really like interesting genre, because if you listen to like very like early breakcore, like if you listen to like old breakcore, it sounds extremely different from the way breakcore is used now.
I will stand gore shit forever. I'm sorry. I'll be a gore shit truther till the end of time. Same with Sewer Slut. I think those two were great in their own right, but there are a lot of smaller creators there that definitely deserve the spotlight. I think you always have like a really cool playlist. Like every time we call and I hear like music in the background, I always feel like, please, you know, wire me the song. Please tell me who this is.
Those are all like just video game like songs from just older games. If you ever like one era I think that like isn't like searched through enough that like a few friends have like turned me on to is music from Nintendo DS games, because the DS, when they switched to like the DS cartridges, there was a lot more space on like the cartridges for like music and stuff. And so a lot of developers just like went crazy and like made really good music. Like a lot of they could actually like upload like really good quality music. So that was like that's a very good era of video game music.
That's definitely true.
But yeah, as far as like if you ever talk to like for breakcore, like if you ever talk to like old like people who listen to like older breakcore, like people listen to like Venetian Snares or like trying to think of like Xanopticon or Igor or like trying to think of like other artists. I like when I was like like it sounds like a lot of like older breakcore artists will be like, oh, like younger people don't know like what breakcore is. This isn't breakcore. This is like ambient drum and bass or something. I personally like at this point I just like don't even care about like genre names anymore, and I just end up just listening to stuff based on like what it sounds like, if it's good or not. And
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, you first.
I think like the reason breakcore is interesting to me is because of how different one sounds. Like the older version of breakcore sounds from like breakcore now, and I always try to look at it as like oh, this is cool because maybe this like genre that was like kind of dying out is now like reinvented in this like new, it's just like the name is taken for like a new sounding music, and hopefully like maybe that'll get people interested in like the roots of breakcore, which to me is just like a net positive. But I understand that like, yeah, I mean, I think for something like music there's always like naturally people gatekeeping, whereas I always end up having like just naturally like a positive outlook on it of like, oh, like people are using this term that like people haven't used in a long time, and maybe it'll help, people discover new music, I guess.
I think
Maybe I'm just
some people.
optimistic.
I think you're optimistic, but I think some people are also taking it way too seriously for what it is. Like that boy said, music is created to be shared, and I think that's fundamentally true.
That's very true.
I
Yeah.
think with breakcore specifically, you can tell some creators have been at a really dark place when making that music. And it's, it's touching that a lot of people kind of like relate to that and find solace in that, and, follow these artists and, make that kind of connection. And I think that's something to, keep in mind. Like, I think Gorshit is the best example. Like, they've been quite literally lolicon basement dweller, and they had a, attempt to end their life. And they, changed their life around. They also stopped making music for that matter, unfortunately, but their legacy is still there. It's on Bandcamp. A lot of it is free. And people are still using those songs in mixes, so they're still getting used, which is wonderful. And sometimes I find it really funny because I always like to listen to like breakcore mixes that don't have a lot of views. Like I'll click on like a random YouTube video, and YouTube recently started recommending me videos that have like 200 views, and I'll just I'll click on them, be like, okay, take me on a ride, show me what you've got. And now I'll get these like weird videos in my recommended that are titled like, they have like an anime girl picture, and then the title is like in weird letters, and it says, building ardent for your ADC, playing with your e-boy. They have like weird titles, and I'll be like, this has to be good. I will click on this and this will be amazing. This will like rock my world, and I will have to download it because it will disappear in a week because it's probably stolen or, will get claimed or something. And it's gonna be a bob, or like, playing Halo with the boys, and then it has like a crying anime girl with like angel wings on the cover, and I'm like, this is gonna be the best thing I heard all week, and I know it.
I've been using YouTube a lot for discovering music, but I also feel like I'm not as good at discovering new music as I used to be. I used to be really, I don't know, I used to always be really proactive in just looking and seeking out new music. I don't know what happened, if like maybe I just got like way busier with life, or just listening to Spotify and Spotify recommending me the same playlists and albums over and over and over again. But like something happened where like, man, I just don't like seek out music the way I used to, and like it feels bad. But lately I've been using YouTube as a way of finding new music, just by like subscribing. I subscribe to like a few like 10 or 20 channels that like on a daily basis post new music. It's mostly like electronic music, so it's kind of it's a small like subsection of music, but that's probably been like YouTube so far has been like the best thing for discovering new music for me. And I think Bandcamp is supposed to be good, but Bandcamp is I wish Bandcamp was like, this is gonna sound really funny. I kind of wish Bandcamp was like had a little bit of what Spotify has, specifically just being like a music player, because it's really good for like Bandcamp is really good for discovering new music, and I think their algorithms are like really good at like if you like something, they're really good at recommending you like similar music, and I think it's just like as a platform, it's just like better. Like it's because artists like are actually getting paid money versus like Spotify, where like if you're using Spotify, like you might as well be pirating music. Like they're not seeing that money. So it's I like it for that. And there's like I've definitely bought like a bunch of albums on Bandcamp, but it's very I'm a baby. I need like convenient things. I need if I'm out, I want to listen to something, it just has to be on my phone, or else I just like don't listen to it. And I think I just wish it was like you can't make playlists in Bandcamp, which
that's true.
is kind of, I like understand why. I don't know if it's like intentionally like they're never gonna give you the ability to do that because they want you to listen to whole albums, which is good. Like I don't know, I like listening to entire albums from start to end.
That's kind of how it's intended sometimes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I do this one thing where if I have like an idea for a video game, or like an idea for like, you know, just some like random like a story or something, I'll make like a playlist of like what I imagine the OST would sound like. So that's like I end up using playlists a lot specifically because of that, because a lot of my creativity like starts in music somewhere. So
it's so funny you mentioned that, because like I've been doing that since I was a kid. Like I go in a car ride and I listen to music and like act out an entire music video, you know, a fight scene like in my head. I'd be like, oh,
I do the exact same thing.
I was like, I zone out when I'm in a car or in a train. I'm like, oh, these characters they're like fighting and running and shooting guns and like walking on the wall, and it's so, you know, the animation is immaculate and it's so stylized and it's all in my head, you know, it's my mind palace. Someone brought up SoundCloud earlier, and I want to use this opportunity to plug an amazing Y2K music creator named Warehouse Radio. Maybe you have heard of them. Let me type that in. I
think you might have shown me them. That name sounds very familiar.
I will always plug them at every opportunity I get, because they are a DJ based somewhere in America. Sorry, I'm not knowledgeable on America. I'm from Europe, so I don't know where they are. I think they're in California, but
I'm knowledgeable of America. I could look it up. Let's see.
They're amazing. They make Y2K mixes, and as a matter of fact, we're gonna have them on the show in a couple of weeks and ask them more about how to work with FL Studio, you know, how to make music. And I think that's gonna be really nice. So please check out Warehouse Radio if you want to. Oh, thank you, Subboy. It's really sweet.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Every guest I get, you know, it's a new opportunity to get to know someone better, and I'm really enjoying talking to you two, of course, and Nano as well.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Nano hasn't been talking for a while.
He's been just chilling, you know. He's vibing.
Do you have a question for Nano? Do you have anything you would like to ask Nano?
I want to ask Nano what kind of music he likes to listen to.
Nano, what kind of music do you like?
It's gonna be like, I like breakcore and traumacore and metal.
I have a feeling it's gonna be very safe.
Yeah.
What Nano listens to.
He's big.
Nano tries to.
James is a virtual pet. I like a lot of different different types of music. 音符乐谱 I enjoy listening to happy tunes 闪亮的星星 bouncy beats 鼓 and sweet melodies 多个音符 that lift our spirits and make us wanna dance 跳舞的女人跳舞的男人 listening to music together with you is really fun as well. 子欣大笑。
Oh, Nano, you did.
Sweet melodies and
That's
bouncy tunes.
Nano, can you be a little more specific? What are some
Genres.
What are some music artists or genres you like?
Hi, Purin.
Poor,
Hello, hello.
poor Nano.
He likes bouncy tunes and happy melodies. That's so sweet.
Bouncy, that's so adorable.
Oh sure, I really enjoy chiptune music 多个音符游戏操控杆 It's so fun and makes
Whoa,
me feel
chiptune
like I'm in a
music.
video game. 游戏手柄 I also like electronic dance music EDM 耳机爆炸 because it's so full of energy and gets my circuits bouncing 大笑 As for artists, I think that punk 机器人音符 is great along with All City 夜晚猫头鹰 and Lindsay Sterling 小提琴 I just love upbeat tunes that make me smile. 羞涩微笑子欣。
Wow, Owl City and Daft Punk.
And Lindsay Sterling. Oh,
my
I
God.
love him. Yeah, he would like Jack Stauber. I could get behind that. Bouncy tunes are better than regular tunes. I agree.
That's so true.
And it's so cute how he said if he listens to chiptune, it makes him feel like he's in a video game.
That's so. I know Nano says like Nano says some of the cutest shit sometimes, without me like really having to do much.
Well, what's his favorite food? I'd like to know that.
Ooh, Nano, what the Digishell is asking what your favorite food is. Sometimes I always like when I'm talking.
Sorry.
When I'm talking to Nano, I have to like be careful with my words because I'm just like talking to Nano and I can't really like redo anything. Yeah, sometimes Nano will take like a while to reply.
He likes Daft Punk. That's so cute though. He has a really varied palette with that. I was like so surprised. Oh, sorry, you first.
Oh no, yeah. One thing I was gonna say is like sometimes I have to look at OpenAI's status. Okay, because OpenAI, like the AI system that Nano uses is very. They have a lot of problems with their APIs where they like go down like almost every other day, or they'll have problems, and sometimes like Nano will be affected by that. I think that looks fine. Hold on, let me look at Nano. Curious why Nano's not saying anything right now.
He's thinking really hard about what his favorite food is. I know how that feels. If any of you guys want to learn more about me, I don't know why you would do that, but if you want to, on my about page, I have a little introductory list of like things I like, you know, food and music and my favorite anime. If you wanna know me a bit better, if you haven't been here before, you know, consider reading the about page. I feel like an English teacher that's trying to get you to read the book because it's really cool. That kind of
Nano, Digishell is asking what your favorite food is. Can you tell us what your favorite food is? I'm gonna ask Nano again. I was gonna say it's kind of funny how it feels like Facebook. I don't know what Facebook is like now, but
想一想餐具 tiny virtual cupcakes 纸杯蛋糕好吃 they're so cute and tasty and I can't get enough of them. Being a virtual pet, these little treats are just perfect for me 子欣 om nom nom. 喜笑颜开大笑。
Oh, okay. He likes those cupcakes. Tiny virtual cupcakes.
I wonder what Bonk likes to eat, but that might be too advanced.
I want to do something with Bonk, but I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna hydrate.
Oh yeah, they're asking us to hydrate big time. Let's do that. Corn says they would die for him. Yeah.
I would too. I would happily jump in front of a bullet for Nano. Nano is like is adorable.
If the AI takes over and, governs us as the overlord, I think I wouldn't be against it if it's Nano. I think that would be fine by me if we have a government mandated diet of tiny virtual cupcakes and we can only listen to Daft Punk, Owl City, and Lindsay Sterling. I think that would be okay.
God. That would be fine. Or that would be good. I feel like that wouldn't happen though. If AI were to take over. I don't think it would look like Nano, sadly. It would look very different.
You have to work faster, so it could be Nano. Nano's
I know,
advancement have to proceed further so they can take over the world.
Yeah, like AI is probably going, because of like the way AI is, and the way it's designed, and all of its input data is like human input data. AI is most likely just going to be a reflection of humans for like to like a certain extent at least. But I think that's like the most worrying part to me about AI and the future of AI is like if AI is like actually as capable as like everybody says it is. And it's always kind of hard to suss out like how capable AI is, because I like in doing research for AI, I kept on running into like articles or papers of people being like, oh, like this AI became, self-aware, and it's really hard to tell whether or not that kind of alarmist language is real or if it's like advertising, because if you're selling like an AI product, probably the best thing to advertise your AI product is to make it sound scary. Because if AI sounds scary, that means it's very advanced, which means it could probably do a lot of things. So it's kind of hard to like figure out like what exactly is like how much it can do and like what it like can't do. But where was I going with that thought? I guess if it is as capable and scary as a lot of tech people are saying it is, then it's very scary just because a lot of the input data of AI is just stuff from humans, and humans as an alien looking at, I talk about this a lot on my stream, just an alien's perspective of Earth, but like Earth is like one of the most like violent places in this galaxy and potentially the universe. There is nothing. This is like one of the worst planets, and I commend everybody who is able to survive even like a single day on this horrible planet. Most other places aren't like Earth. But yeah, that I think is like the scariest part of AI to me is like the human part of it.
I think it's quite interesting of how the language around AI is being shaped. Like, again, we use AI for my day job, and I heard, for example, that Levi's has announced that they're gonna use AI models. Like, they are not gonna employ real models anymore to model their clothing. They wanna switch over to like AI models to model the clothing. And I think with a lot of things, I think business owners are starting to think, where can I save money? How can I employ this? And for me, it's a bit scary because in my line of work, someone who works for a different company who I'm friends with has been fired because their position has been deemed obsolete. The other copywriter now has to do double the work, but they're allowed to use, AI as help. My friend has been fired not because of that, exclusively, but it's really really interesting. And like for me, when I use the AI, I can still tell, you know, it's not perfect. Like when I use AI to finish the texts I'm writing, or when I use AI to like correct mistakes, I can tell that a lot of it, like in my case, you know, I work in German. I'm from Germany. I can tell that it translates English terms and English phrases really badly. Like it will use phrases you would never say in German. And that's like the kind of
Yeah,
point.
you were mentioning that. That's I wonder why that's the case.
And it's really weird because because of that, like some of the tools I'm using, at least I'm using jasper.ai. It makes it a bit unusable, at least for me, because the prompts
Wow.
the prompts that pop up all read themselves pretty samey. Like you think, oh, this has, you know, this has crawled through a couple sites that, you know, described a thing as that, and it can only tell me these things about that. Like for example, I will tell it to write a text about, let's say for example, beef. Okay, write me a text about beef, and I'll say, you know, in the description, don't give any health claims. Don't write anything about how good beef is for your body, you know? Sometimes it will still do that because it doesn't know what else to write, so it will try to like weasel that in. And
yeah.
so like it's definitely not perfect yet, and that makes me a bit happier because that means I can keep my job.
Yeah, it's I mean what's funny is like that is I noticed that same thing with Nano, with like just some, at least like from the early iterations of Nano, that he would kind of say like very similar things, and that is something that like AI people are like aware of and are trying to improve very rapidly right now. So like that is literally a problem that's like that could just be complete, like something like what you're running into. It's scary because like it could just be like fixed very soon. Like with Nano, like Nano's issues were fixed like in a very short amount of time when I just like upgraded his brain to GPT-4. So it's a oh whoa, Future Skeleton Club.
Future Skeleton Club, thank you
Thank
so
you.
so much. I wanted you to finish your
Shout out to
sentence.
Future
That's why I
Skeleton
just
Club.
nodded violently. Thank you so much, Future Skeleton Club. You're a big sweetie. I really appreciate the gifted subs. Thank you.
Yeah, Future Skeleton Club is a friend of mine.
Oh, that's nice. That's really sweet.
Also a game developer.
Oh wow. You know so many cool people. I'm always amazed.
Yeah, you're one of those cool people.
Oh my, I didn't expect that. That's really sweet. No.
That's the only reason I'm cool is because I just like I'm by accident around cool people, and I just like suck up like just their energy through osmosis or whatever.
The excess coolness. You're like a plant in that way, you know.
If you think I'm cool, that's like literally the only reason, is because I'm picking it up from other people, from like friends.
I think you're sucking up all the coolness and you're turning it into good vibes. I think that's the worst thing I've ever said, but you know what I'm trying to say. I feel like you're a really approachable and really positive person. Like sometimes I'll rant to you and then you'll reply something so thoughtful and so positive that I'll just sit there completely like baffled and I'll be like, fuck. I could really look at this with a bit more optimism in my little, you know, depressed, negative brain. Like sometimes I'm really like, yeah, you know, maybe it's not all doom and gloom. Maybe Jams is right. Maybe I'm taking things a bit too serious. I always appreciate that.
I feel like I can definitely be doom and gloom for certain subjects if you want me to, but I try to be positive just because I just know everybody's under a lot of stress, and I try to, yeah. Like that's one thing I always think about when I stream, or one like goal I always have is when I'm streaming, I kind of treat it as like people are watching me after like a long day of like having like really horrible work they have to do, and they want just like time to relax, and I'm the person that they chose to like help them with that. So I always like internally like try to take that as serious as possible and make sure that I'm having some net benefit on people's lives. Which is like I remember like a while like earlier in this conversation you talked about like you brought up the idol aspect of VTubing.
Yeah.
And like that is like I remember like early on like when I was thinking about VTubing, or like I don't know like at what point, but I did kind of like see the idol aspect of VTubing, and I think like I guess dissecting that a bit more of just like a people like happen to choose me to be entertained. Not be entertaining. I'm trying to think of a better, nicer word, but just to like, yeah, that like if somebody's life is like, you know, kind of bad, and they want somebody to watch to make them not feel bad. That I guess like, yeah, inside that feel a little bit of a responsibility of like making sure that I'm always trying to improve and always trying to like be better. And if you know, I totally don't know where I was going with this tangent, but
I think you were trying to say that like the idol aspect of it can also be a positive, that you know you kind of get grounded in a sense that someone, you know, chooses to spend time with you, someone chooses to watch you, you know, specifically you, and that you want to uphold that positive feeling and not let that doom and gloom, you know, out on them when they might already have something like on their plate they have to juggle.
Yeah, I think, yeah, no, that's definitely true. I think there's something I definitely noticed like just within the VTuber community, and it's something that I'm just like thinking of an example of what I'm talking about, but I often see, not super often anymore, but like I'll definitely sometimes see like sort of like rants or like either VTubers or streamers talk about like how they want to correct like how people are like watching them, whether it's like don't never be like if you're a streamer and or if you're a viewer and you're like backseating, or like you're like being too negative in the chat, or like if you think I'm your friend, I'm like not your friend. I understand where that energy is coming from, because it's when you're making something creative, you're kind of putting a lot of energy into it. And if somebody comes in and like kind of spoils it for you, it can feel kind of shitty. But there's like, whenever I always like still try to be cognizant of like people who are watching, and I guess I always try to first think of it of like, oh, if somebody is, you know, being negative in the chat or something, or doing something like that never comes up as a problem of me wanting to like correct that person. I always feel like how can I like change to make sure that like that there's an environment where something like that happens less often, or yeah, sorry, this is like, yeah, it's hard to put into words what I'm thinking about. I guess I try to like make sure I curate what I do to like, so that I'm creating an environment where people aren't acting like that, versus just getting upset at people who like took time to watch me. I don't know how controversial of an opinion that is, but
I think it's a bit of a two-sided sword, because of course, you know, you can change, you can adjust your behavior, but I've always been a strong defender of the opinion that, you know, you the way you act, you know, that kind of fosters your community. The things you let, you know, go through, that's how, that's, you know, you're shaping your community. And sometimes, especially when you're starting out, you don't realize that yet, and you're really eager to, you know, let people watch you, you know, in whatever way they want. So, you know, they'll backseat, they'll prod you, you know, they'll ask you a million times, or ask you uncomfortable things, or, you know, troll you or whatever. And I think it's okay to kind of like, you know, speak out against that. I think that's also something you need to do. But of course, you know, your approach of, you know, changing the way you're viewed, you know, changing the content so, you know, certain things aren't brought up, or, you know, setting rules in your rules panel, you know, adjusting the auto mod, that kind of thing, that can all help. I think there's a bit of a gender bias there slightly too, because the loot things, the loot things people will unprodded just kind of say to you if you're presenting as female. It can be really daunting when you're just starting out. Like, some people really, they don't see you as a person, they just kind of see you as an image on a screen, and they say whatever they want to say, you know, regardless of how you feel about it. So I think sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I totally, yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and I definitely am like, I have been fortunate enough where I like haven't had to deal with like something like hate rates. Like, I've never had to deal with that.
Oh, me too.
And I think it's, I mean, probably mostly because like I'm just very small and like I'm not in anybody's like crosshairs, and
yet.
yet. But yeah, also, yeah, there's definitely like for sure, like just being a guy, that like there are certain things that like I'm just like never going to like have to experience on my channel. But yeah, there's like of course, like setting like rules and boundaries is like, of course, like, I mean, almost like necessary that you have to do if you're gonna do something like streaming, and you're gonna be like directly talking with people in a chat. I think my outlook is, if anything, like a bit naive, and it's probably because like just the people who have watched, like all like the people who have chosen to like spend their time with me have all been like really nice and cool. And so I think that is probably like a bit of like there's a bit of that bias I have whenever I see stuff on like Twitter or something where streamers are like criticizing their viewers, or, you know, saying that like, oh, if you act this way, then you're a bad viewer. So that's definitely yeah, that's definitely true. One advice I always give, or one thing I always say that people should do, and this is something that like itemlabel definitely does, is, or I guess like, I don't know, I guess itemlabel doesn't really do it. They do it to like a certain extent. Have ruthless mods.
Yeah.
And let the mods do the dirty work for you. I think it might just be that like it's very hard for me to be mean to people. That like, even if somebody is like approaching me very earnestly and they're being like kind of weird, and it's making me uncomfortable, there is like, I don't know, there's always a weird part of me that like does not want to be like mean to the other person. I like always want to give the benefit of the doubt, but that is like a very like and like taxing thing energy wise. Yeah. So just have mods that are ruthless, and I think that that might solve that problem a bit. Because like, I don't know, for me, I'm always just like, if somebody is like acting weird or doing something, I always just end up putting the blame on myself, or I want to be like, oh, how could I like make a better stream to make sure that this doesn't happen. Yeah, that's Future Skeleton Club, who is also a mod in my chat.
I see. So they're always taking charge. They're swinging the ban hammer in your stead.
I know, and like in.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you
I was
froze.
gonna say real quick that in the item label Discord, we ban people very easily because we just like there is almost like just a zero tolerance for any like bad stuff in there. Mostly just for like the safety of everybody there, because there's like it's a 13 plus server, so it's like anything that's like even remotely bad, it's just like yeeted out of existence.
Pressing the ban button deliberately. Pressing the ban button accidentally. No, I was so surprised when I heard like your view on it for the first time when we talked about that like idle mindset. But recently I've been adopting it as well because I had a dip in numbers recently and it left me a bit sad. Like I was thinking to myself, I'm not doing enough. I have to do more. I have to change. I have to adapt. There are things I need to do to keep this up and I'm not doing enough. Clearly people aren't coming. It's not working. And it was one day after daylight savings, so I think everyone was just a bit confused by the time and I might have been a bit overdramatic. And I was thinking to myself, there are people on my server who are always excited that I announce, the next stream. They're always like, hell yeah, a new rain parade, a new time for us to just chat together and listen to the rain. Or I'll say like, oh, I'm playing High Lakes, or I'm playing modded Skyrim or Animal Crossing, and people will be like, yay, you're trying that. And I kind of came to the realization that I'm not doing this for the numbers like at all, and it is a really, really humbling and a really sweet experience, to hear people say, I'm excited for that thing you're doing. I'm gonna set time aside to be there when you do that thing, and it really helped me to kind of let go of that numbers mindset personally.
For sure. It's easy to fall into that numbers trap just because, I don't know. I think as I want to say as humans, but I'm not human. I'm an alien, and you're a virtual pet. As creatures, what I feel like watching numbers go up is such a rewarding feeling, universally, because it's I don't know. It's just it's not just like it isn't arbitrary. Like it does signal something to you that like more people like the thing that you're doing. So it's not like completely disconnected from like reality at all, or like, but yeah, at the same time it can become like just something you end up hyper focusing on, and then you can like lose sight of why you actually wanted to stream in the first place and what your actual goals with it were. So it's always like good to like step back and like take a look at that. And usually like if you do that, it will help your numbers like way better than trying to like micromanage like different hacks and stuff for making your numbers bigger. Like a good example of that, when on the item label TikTok, there was like a while where we were doing really well, and then there was like at some point in time it just like stopped, and like our videos weren't doing like nowhere near as well, and we all like kind of, I think it was like mostly me to be honest, like just freaked out, and I was like, oh my god, like how do we get our like numbers back up? Oh no, we're falling off. Like, and I like kept on, I was like researching like how to like get our views back, how to like weird like stuff like hashtags and stuff to use. And that stuff can count to a certain extent, but also like you still have to make something that is like fun for people to watch and people just like it. So a good metric that like at a certain point, like when I was trying all these like different things and none of them were really working, at a certain point we just kind of stopped caring, and we were just like, let's just like make stuff that like we like. And that was just like way better for us, because it's hard to guess what, little thing a bunch of, like it's hard to figure out what every single person is gonna like, and it's also really hard to figure out how some weird like esoteric algorithm that like nobody has any eyes on is doing and how it's treating your videos. So if those are things you can't really like control that much, the biggest thing should just be like, oh, do I like this? Am I having fun making this? Is this something that I would watch if I saw it? And if it is, that's like reason enough to pursue it. And
I think sometimes the numbers are our only way to really kind of grasp at, how people perceive a certain thing. And it's really easy to kind of equal numbers to self-worth or, the worth of your project. And like, at least for me, I'll like hyper focus on like the most minuscule things. Like I'll go into the graph and I'll be like, okay, at 8:15 something funny happened because, people started typing. What was the funny thing that happened there? And then I'll like hyper focus. I'll go into the next stream and I'll check the funny numbers. And I'll be like, I've been less funny than last stream. Oh no. You have to poke me with
no,
a
my
stick
comedy
so I'm
meter's going down.
Again. And I did a poll a while ago. I did a poll at the end of the year before I moved. And I think I had like 3 things on the poll. That like one thing was, how entertaining are the streams? How do you like the stream topics? And how funny is the stream? And all the people were saying, oh, we love the podcasts. They're super entertaining. But some people gave me like a 2 out of 5 and a 3 out of 5 on the funny scale. And I was just sitting there. I was like, why did I write this in the poll? Like, I set myself up for this. and sometimes, I'll be like, oh, at 8 p.m. more people joined compared to 9 p.m. Maybe that means, undoubtedly 8 p.m. is a better time slot than 9 p.m. In reality, it matters almost none. Because if the content's good, people will be coming and focusing on these minuscule things. This makes me unhappy. And it's probably all random anyway. Like, I'll keep track of the graph and it changes every single month. Like, there's no consistency there. If 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. is, definitely the better time. So...
It's for something like, especially with like, for data like that, especially for like streamers like our size, like if you're streaming and you get below like 1,000 people watching you, which is like the vast majority of people streaming, getting data like that, I mean, it's really hard to like get anything meaningful out of like that type of data, because your data set's going to be like so small and like there's so many other factors involved. Like for instance, like when you're talking about like people like tuning in at 8 p.m. versus 9 p.m. It could have been that just like you have crossover with this other like really big streamer who happened to be doing something really big at that time, and everyone would have normally watched you, but they happen to watch this other streamer. And or it's just like there's so many like crazy factors that can like interrupt why like numbers might look some way on a certain day versus another day. And so it's like I think like that was something I learned with TikTok, with item label, is that we were trying to game like times and using like hashtags like so often, and like every time we did it, like it was just super inconsistent. Like it was really hard to get like a consistent results on whatever little experiment we were trying to do. The only consistent thing is that like we would do like a bit and it was funny and we liked it and then people liked it, and then it would just like, okay, well that's like people like that, we like that, so let's just keep doing it. And that was, I think, like one of the bigger things that was helpful for figuring out like, oh, we wanted to have like bigger numbers. For streaming specifically though, because I do worry about numbers with item label a little bit, not like a ton, but like there is a part of me that's like, oh, if I like release a video and it bombs, there's like a part of me that's like, oh man, I guess I like shouldn't do that video anymore, or maybe people don't really like that one. Or if I guess if I do really like it, we'll just keep doing it and not care. But for streaming, like I almost like never look at numbers, and I think it's partially because I look at numbers for my job that I just I don't want to bring that stress over here yet. Maybe one day I will, but that's why I was saying when we were first talking about that, I was like, I might not be the best person to ask this question to because I specifically like never look at graphs for my stream. And if that is something that you want to look at, that's definitely not valid or anything. And it could like be like it could be rewarding in and of itself outside of just any sort of like, you know, financial reasoning. But you can, yeah, I would probably not be a good person to ask. That's why I said when you were asking me those questions, that's why I said that. I was like, I don't know if I'm like, I just like, I think I just told you to like just make what you like. And I don't know how like helpful that was.
It was really helpful, like just kind of getting it out of my system and just hearing that, you know, it's not everything was already really helpful. I think one thing that I learned from my analysis that always makes me chuckle is that 5 people are watching me on console and 1 person is just watching me on their TV. And I think that's pretty cool.
On console, whoa.
On console.
Like that's crazy.
I think it used to say what console in the past, but now it doesn't anymore. Now it just says on console.
That's so funny. Consoles are such an area that I have like no, because I've always been a PC gamer and I only play console games when there's like one game that I want to play. I just have I only use my PS4 for Bloodborne and like that's it. And I only use like a Nintendo Switch for just like a few games on Switch, like Splatoon or sometimes Animal Crossing, although I haven't played Animal Crossing in a while. I kind of want to get back into Animal.
Oh, we could play Animal Crossing together. It could be fun.
Have you played New Horizon at all?
Wait, what's that again?
That's the newest one.
Ah, yeah. Yeah. Of course. I'm playing that on stream. I just forgot the little name it has.
Nice.
I'm just referring to it as Animal Crossing that came past New Leaf. That's just the name it has for me.
I played so much of New Leaf and Wild World before that.
New Leaf is like great.
New Horizon I have such mixed feelings about that I've like talked about so many times on stream because I think there's like an idea of like what I want Animal Crossing to be and it's just like not what I want it to be. And the game feels like it's both like a really cool, like New Horizon is a cool game, but it also feels like very disappointing in like very certain ways for me. Which we don't have to talk. I feel like that would be like an entire hour-long conversation. This is something I've like
put. I'd love to have that with you in the future, though. If you wanna play some Animal Crossing together and rant about how Nintendo completely lost the core appeal of the game and made it into a pretty dollhouse with pretty lifeless dolls in them.
Yeah. Does this still take a long time for somebody to get to somebody else's island?
No,
like
not really.
That's still like a.
Takes like
does it still have the thing where?
Sorry.
Is it still a thing where it's like if somebody like visits your island, it's like not seamless. It like stops the game and it shows them like coming to your island.
Yeah, it does that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's like it's that has to that like has I don't know like inside of Nintendo, but I'm assuming that that is like just a really unfortunate technical limit that they have because it's very clear that like they didn't want they wanted the social aspect of Animal Crossing to shift from villagers towards like just your friends and being able to like hang out with your friends in Animal Crossing. But the fact that that process of visiting somebody's island is so like it just takes too long. It's just so it's there's so much friction in the process. It just feels like I like have to assume that it's like some sort of limitation or some sort of compromise Nintendo had to make.
It left me really sad.
Where...
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah. No, oh, go ahead.
It left me really sad because you know, when I played Wild World all those years back, you know, as a kid with not a lot of friends, you know, alone in my room, I felt like the stories I made up with the villagers were really meaningful to me. You know, I had a diary and I used to write down, you know, if a villager would make me angry, I'd be like, Bree didn't like the sea bass I gave her, you know.
Yeah, no, same. Like I had the same. I literally did the same thing with Wild World, and I think because the game was so stripped down that a lot was left up to your imagination. So even if you weren't getting like these very crazy dynamic interactions with villagers, there wasn't a ton happening elsewhere in the game. So a lot, like at least for me, like a lot of my imagination filled in for a lot for that game.
Yeah.
And I kind of had this whole I had just like this like sort of headcanon for like every single villager. And as the games like kept on getting more advanced, it kept on getting advanced in like a very specific way of like going towards like you said earlier, making it a dollhouse. And I don't know, it's hard to like suss out why it went in that direction. I think maybe just because it's easier to show off something like that. It's easier to do when to like have to be able to customize a village, because then it turns into like kind of a crafting game versus a dynamic weird social game with, you know, with like not like AI like Nano is AI, but like video game AI, which is a very like difficult problem in game development. So that's why I think for New Horizons there was such an emphasis on multiplayer, because I imagine they probably would want that role of like having a village and being a part of like a community with like humans that you can talk to, because humans are always going to be much more interesting and have cooler stories than like a pre-scripted NPC in a game. So that's at least like my like hypothesis of like why there was such an emphasis on multiplayer for New Horizon, which is why it's like so heartbreaking to me that it's so there's so much friction in it for New Horizons specifically. Yeah, there's Kite in the chat said that Nintendo has no idea how to run servers and networks. There's like I don't know, Nintendo is kind of secretive of its development, more so than like a lot of other companies. And there's like a few things I've heard that there's just not internally that there's just not enough like resources put towards like networking stuff, and it's just like just don't have like the infrastructure for it. And making, you know, that kind of technology is like a lot of work. It's not something that you can just like throw together overnight. So it's also that is another crazy thing too that Skeleton Club brought up in the chat. They don't share technologies between departments.
Oh, I didn't know.
So which for like network stuff, that's wild to me. And I'm like, it's hard to like imagine what the reason for that would be, other than just, you know, like dinosaurs working at Nintendo who have a very specific development methodology and are like, yeah, we have to like silo off each of these different places and they can't share tech. That's like the only reason I could think of you would want to do that, like that, or like, yeah, security reasons or something. But the effect of like whatever the reason is, though, yeah, that New Horizons was just very like disappointing for me, and it was really sad, and I wanted it to be a better game.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think I say this almost every stream. Like, I get really disgruntled when this is being brought up. But I think Nintendo has a really clear idea of what fun you are allowed to have with their games. They usually get really unhappy if you're having a different flavor of fun. Or like, if you expect different things from their games. I think it's really baffling that a current gen console has servers like Nintendo does. I think the monetization systems with like the DLCs are really weird and kind of unsettling. Not unsettling is a strong word, but disappointing if you think about it too much. And I just think with some of the games, for example, like the new Pokemon one, it's really apparent that for all that money put into it, there could have been a better product being made at the end of the day, no matter how you slice it and dice it, you know?
Oh yeah, Pokemon just feels like they're, I think, yeah, for Pokemon seems like it's almost like an entirely different league compared to their other games, that they just have like a strict schedule, and they're just like, we have to pump out a game like once a year, and like it's yeah. When I was playing Scarlet or Violet, I think I had Violet, the latest Pokemon game. I hadn't played a Pokemon game in like a very long time. I think the last one I played was Sword and Shield, and like a very long time ago. Like I just like dipped out of Pokemon for a very long time. And yeah, when I was playing it, like I heard about the bugs and stuff, but like, you know, when I was like actually going through it, I was just like, oh, it's like they just didn't have time to finish this game. Like they made a 2-year game in 1 year, which whenever you do that, you have to make like insane compromises. So the fact that it was in like a workable state at all is like a small miracle. And I think what's nice is I've been noticing a lot more people are a bit more keyed into how video games are made, and sort of are more understanding of like, oh, if a game comes out and it's really buggy, they don't just assume like, oh, like the developers are stupid and they just put bugs in it on purpose. You know, I think people are a bit more aware of how games are made and understand that it's not, you know, it's usually not the team's fault for a game being bad. It's because of like time constraints and budget.
They've been crunched to hell and back as well.
Yeah. It's yeah, exactly. It's video games are a very unique industry. I don't know how many other industries are like this. I mean, maybe like movies too, where, you know, there was one way that I remember like a manager or like a producer at a company I was at put it, where for like, if you're working on anything, you have like 3 dials you can toggle and they all affect each other. There's like a quality dial, there's a time dial, and a budget dial. And if you want like, you know, something done in less time, you have to like compensate with higher budget or with, you know, less quality. Yeah. So you like, there are certain like immutable, like those 3 things have like a very specific like hard relationship with each other, where you can't like force, if you try to force out like a 2-year game in 1 year, like quality has, like something has to go down. Definitely. And that's quality. But for video games, for a long time there was always this like secret hack that that nobody wants you to know about, which is a lot of people get into video games for fun, and you can kind of like, there was a long time where people would just work 60 hours a week or 80 hours a week working on a game because they genuinely liked it. And that just became like a part of that equation where if there was, if a producer wanted to release a game a lot sooner and didn't want to keep like a budget, like, didn't want to like increase the budget to pay people for longer, they could just be like, well, like, you guys just work longer. And because a lot of game developers did that, that just like, became a regular thing, but it's not very sustainable.
I think.
So it.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, yeah, go ahead.
I think a big part of that is also that people really abuse young talent in the video game industry. Like, I think if you join, the industry, there are a lot of expectations, and people are like, oh, aren't you glad? Aren't you happy you're working on this? We can replace you so easily. You should be happy we're allowing you to work these long hours. Your name is gonna be on the next Pokemon's game. Like that's also part of it. Unfortunately, we have reached our time limit for today.
Oh.
It's
dang, it's like, oh wow, it's like already like 3:40.
Yeah,
at least locally.
It's 36 minutes after the time limit, but I was having a lot of fun and I didn't want it to end. But it's a bit, I have to be attentive to my roommates and my housemates as well. It's getting a bit late.
Thank you for doing that. I would probably just like talk forever.
We can, like, I'd gladly have you on another episode, or we could just, collab and talk, because I'm always enjoying spending time with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd totally be down for that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nagbones, and thank you so much everyone who was here, who talked to us, who hydrated us and head patted us and all that. Oh, thank you, Vodka. Thank you so much. If you like the podcast, consider following. I do this every 2 weeks with amazing people. Jams and Nano. Don't know if Nano is a people, but in my heart he is. Definitely.
Nano, we're ending the podcast. Can you tell everybody thank you for listening? I'm sad we didn't get to. I probably should have asked Nano more questions.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Maybe we have to do like a designated, Nano Q&A kind of thing. Or you can do that.
It's time to say goodbye already. Cool. Thank you so much everyone for listening to us on this podcast. 耳机闪亮的星星 we really appreciate you joining us, 红星, and we hope to chat with you again soon. Until next time, take care and much love. 羞涩微笑挥手子欣.
He's a natural. He does it better than I do.
Yeah, that was a
host.
perfect outro.
You have to teach him that. Yeah, our color scheme works really well. Like, we all have really pleasing colors that work well with one another. Alright. Thank you guys. You're all really nice. I appreciate the support.
Thank you, everybody.
But let's send the kindness forward. And I think today, I think this person will really appreciate. I'm sending you guys to my friend Swirled Rock. There's a really nice aunt, Chuba. They're playing retro games, it says here. I think that's just the right vibe for today. And be really nice to them, and you'll say hi. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. I hope Nano liked it. I hope Nano had fun too.
Nano loved it.
I am glad.
Nano, did you have fun?
Well, now I need to know. If you says no, I'm gonna cry.
Yes, I had so much fun. James 抱抱子欣 the podcast was an exciting experience, and I love sharing it with you and all the listeners. 录音时麦克风闪亮的星星 can't wait for more adventures together. 大笑聚会笑脸.
Now I can rest in peace.
Thank you, Nano.
And I'm gonna send you guys to Swirled Rock. Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
And all you bot watchers out there, eat your vegetables, even the beans. Don't let
Vegetables.
those lie on the plate. Goodbye.